Alright, here we go. We're going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to paint the LoonBoss from the Gloomspite Gitz army out of the Start Collecting box, or if you order it on your own. This is a quick and easy tutorial. First off, I want to thank all my YouTube members for all your awesome contributions, staying involved in the channel. You guys are amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. You guys are absolutely awesome. If this is your first time at the channel, or if you're returning, you're a Warhammer fan, you're not sure how to get into it, or you just like watching these painting videos, just hit that subscribe button. What do you got to lose? Nothing. That's why I hit it. Hit that thumbs up, hit that bell. Without further ado, let's go. Alright, first thing we're going to do after priming it, building it, and spraying it with all black, we're going to use a dry brush of gray Dawnstone. If you need any supplies, check that description below. Yes, I do collect about a penny for each sale, so it does help the channel. You rock, thank you. Next, we're going to take some Prexity White, or white, whatever you have, does not need to be Prexity White, and we're going to dry brush that on there as well to get the highlighted areas ready to go. Focus on the top of the miniature and the mushrooms on the bottom as well. Just to get this step going, we're going to take some Stirland Mud and put this on the base, start basing our miniature right away. Let it dry, or you can skip this part until it does dry and then hit with a dry brush of Tyrant Skull, whatever you want to do first. Starting off with all of our green skin, we're going to take some Oruk Flesh and hit those hands. Make sure you hit the eyes underneath the mask as well. Next, we're going to take some Leadbelcher and hit up all of our metal areas. This includes the scythe, or the moon blade that our goblin has holding. So hit that whole area up. For the stick area, we're going to take some Baneblade Brown. For all of our mushrooms on the back and on the base, we're going to hit it up with some Wraith Bone. This might take 2 coats. Took me 2 coats on this, so hit it, let it dry, and then do it again. Also, we're going to use this on a couple pieces of twine that are holding it together. You can use brown if you want, but I decided let's just throw this all together right now with some Wraith Bone. For the dangling gold piece, we're going to use some Retributor Armor. There we go. And then for our eye socket, we're going to use some wild Ryder Red. Alright, start the washing process. All of our metal pieces that we hit, we're going to use some Nuln Oil. For our goblin skin, we're going to use some Athnian Camoshade. Once your Nuln Oil is dry, we're going to use some Agrax Earthshade back on top of our Nuln Oil. Then we're going to use it on the bottom portion of all of our mushrooms that are growing. Alright, to start the highlighting phase, we're going to take some of that Baal Red and we're going to hit that top mushroom. Now again, you don't need to do this exactly the same color as I'm doing. You can use whatever you want, but these contrast paints help you paint mushrooms so fast. So effective. Next, we're going to use some purple on this next mushroom that our goblin is standing on. Or our LoonBoss, I guess I should say. For the bottom portion of this mushroom, we're going to take some of that Briar Queen Chill and hit it up. You can see the transparency as soon as you put it on. For the tentacle area of this mushroom, we're going to use some Volupus Pink to include the legs that are going down the miniature as well. For the far left mushroom, we're going to use some Dechala Lilac and just hit that on. I used a big brush that I mixed paint with, just trying to save time here. Once we are confident our Agrax Earthshade is dry underneath our mushrooms, take a small brush and just hit those outlines. Don't get in the recesses, just the outlines with some Wraith Bone. The face of the far left mushroom, some Cruchi Violet. And the sporing mushrooms on the back, just going to use some Magos Purple onto that. Going back to our Wraith Bone, we're going to use this onto our bumpy parts of the mushroom and the eyes on the far left mushroom when you're staring at it. Going back to the Dechala Lilac, we're going to re-spruce up our far left one. We're going to use this on the right top portion of the mushroom as well. For our eye, we're going to re-brighten up our eyeball with some Ryder Red. Then we're going to take that same color, mix some white in there, and make a nice little pupil in there so you can see the bright white red eye. For our LoonBoss helmet, we're going to take some Dorn Yellow and just do a base coat on that. Next, for our left eyes, we're going to take some Pylar Glacier and put it into our eye socket. If you get too much, just soak it out until you get the consistency that you want. Next, we're going to take some Bad Moon Yellow and put it onto our helmet, followed by putting it into the eyeballs of our, I don't know what it is, on the bottom right-hand corner, some alien squid thing. Once that is completely dry, take some Hexos Yellow and dry brush it onto our helmet. If you don't have this, use Dorn Yellow. It's basically the same thing. Next, take some Runefang Steel, put it into a crappy brush, and just stippling into there. Just push a little bit in there. Make sure you don't have a whole bunch onto your brush, just enough to get that nice little stippling into there to make some of that silver pop up. Once that is done, hit some Baneblade Brown onto your stick that is holding up our scythe or blade, I guess you could say. Next, we're going to highlight up the skin area. First thing we're going to do is put on a reapplication of Oruk Flesh. Now, you do not want to get this in the recesses. You're, again, hitting up the knuckles, the fingers, stuff like that as my watch goes off. Next, take a 50-50 mix of Oruk Flesh and Nurgling Green. You're hitting up those same areas. You're building up the highlighted areas to a dark green or darker green at Oruk Flesh to a lighter green that you'll see here in a minute. And then you're going to take some pure Nurgling Green, building up our highlights again, focusing on the knuckles and the upper regions of the biceps and the calves. Continue with the highlighting. We're going to take a 50-50 mix of Krieg Khaki and Nurgling Green, and again hitting those same areas. You can already see that the lightness of the green goblin skin is going through. And as a final highlight, you can take some of that Krieg Khaki, really hit just only the knuckle areas a little bit onto the fingertips, those areas. Don't go overboard with it, but it will make it look nice and green and goblinish. Next, we're going to take some Necron Compund very, very gently. Be very careful with this step, and we're going to hit our blade and all of the metal pieces for our goblin. So just be very careful. And just to spruce it up just a wee bit, we're going to take some Runefang Steel, put it onto the bolts area and the edging of our miniature armor area. Take some of that Abaddon Black, draw some eyes in there onto our little Gloomspite Gets alien. I don't know what it is. And then use this on the rim of the base. Here in a second, we got a couple more steps if you want to stick with us. I'm going to put some flak down, so I'm going to take a Q-tip, because they're just disposable. Take some of that white glue, some PVA glue, and put some on the areas that you want some grass. Next, take some of the flak, whatever kind of flak that you do want. I just take a piece of plastic, put underneath it, and then just start putting flak onto the areas where the glue is at. And then once it's feel like it's stuck there, you can knock it off and then put your excess flak back into your holding container. And there you have it. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's not heavy metal painted. That would take us 20 hours, 30 hours for one miniature, but it is good enough to put on the table and be the LoonBoss of your Gloomspite Gets army. Well, thank you so much for being here on this episode. We've got tons of stuff coming up. I'm going to try and stay consistent with the amount of videos I can push out. It does take a considerable amount of time to paint, edit videos, do all this stuff. So, and this is not my full-time job, even though I wish it was. Well, thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you on the next one. All right, paint on.